And I've got this to show you in front. I'm actually just playing with the designer series paper. I've got a stack of the paper underneath me so that we can actually see what we're doing. So it's really pretty paper. I've only got a couple of pieces here with me on the table. The other ones are on the other side of the room, so we won't be playing with those. So there's a lot of talk these days about a technique called the fractured. I was looking it up on Pinterest. So when you look in here, it's called the easy fractured card idea. So I did a class a couple of weeks back with a fractured card, and we cut up the designer series paper and we placed it, and it was a measuring nightmare. So I've since been on and we've found some other things to do. So what I've got here is I've got a few different things up my sleeve. I've already cut my A4 in half so that I've got my card base. We're going to play with some snowmen that I've already, not snowmen, some polar bears that I've already cut out, and there's a Christmas tree, and I don't know what happened to the polar bear. I just had him. He was here. Okay, now my polar bear's developed some legs. We'll come across it, I'm sure. All right, so, oh, there he is. He's blended into all these other bits. So we've got a couple of polar bears. We've got some some Night and Navy cardstock. I've already cut this piece up. I do like the footprints, but I'm just going to use the snowflakes today. And then when I'm cutting my basic white up, I end up with all these little strips. So I'm going to put them to some good use today. So what you'll see here, this one here, these two little guys, or two little pieces, I've actually fussy cut them out of this piece of designer series paper. And you'll see it's got holes everywhere because I've done some other fussy cutting. You can fussy cut just about everybody. You can fussy cut these ones that you can only see half of, and then you can butt them against the edge of something so that they don't get wasted. On the back, we've got a blue Christmas jumper, essentially, but all different patterns, almost like Nordic patterns. Okay, and then this piece has got other animals and Christmas trees. So this is the one where I pinched the Christmas tree from. I figured the polar bear would eat the seal, so I decided not to use him. But it's got a red Christmas jumper on it. And you could use those. They just make really nice bases as well, and patterns and whatnot. So I've cut out what I need already because I decided you didn't need to watch me cutting, which you don't. Okay. We will do some cutting on the cut emboss machine because we need to. So I've got, I thought I brought my white over. I don't know what I pulled an envelope out, but I've lost it too in the process. So there is an envelope. And I thought I pulled over. I didn't. Hold on one sec. Eilish is laughing at me. Of course I'm laughing at you. You've just started and you've already misplaced 4 items. It's the pressure of having someone here. Oh, I'm so sorry. Okay. And it's breezy and it's windy and it's actually quite nice at the moment. Okay, so envelope. I've got my container of white. But what we're going to do is I'm going to cut out. So we need an inside and we need a piece to cut out. Because I've brought over, these are 2 from the Stylish Shapes. The stamp set is this little guy. All right. It actually comes from the Christmas Everywhere kit, which is one of the Stampin'. It's in the kits collection online. It's a really pretty kit. You can make 9 cards with it, but you end up with extra pieces. But you end up with a stamp set. So it's got all of these things included, as well as the stamp set. So I've decided I'm going to use the Merry Christmas out of it, and then warm wishes on the inside. And then I've got some trees. So I've got lots of options with that as well. But I'm also going to do some embossing. I'm going to do some heat embossing as well as some dry embossing. Okay. So let's get some pieces cut. So I'll just. All right. So has everyone else got their cards all made? Because I can tell you now I don't. All right. When I pop my dies into the cut and emboss machine, I always send them through on an angle. I've always done it. I did it when we had big shots. It just seems to make them cut easier. You don't have to force it through as much. It's just one of those things. All right, so I need a basic white one of those, and then I'm going to get a smaller version of the Night of Navy. Make sure I turn it up the right way. These are stitched. They're stitched on both sides, so you can use them as a feature if that's what you want to do. Like you can cut out a piece and so you can almost like have bits at the background rather than bringing them forwards. Okay, and now what I'm going to do, I've got those pieces done. So I'm going to ditch all my plates except for the base. And I've just got the 3D splatters folder. It's like a paint splatter. It goes through with the grey. And these are my basic white strips. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line them all up, and I'm just going to stick them into here because they're going to be my pieces that make my shutter, for want of a better word. Okay, so we'll just... How are we all going today? We've got good images and whatnot. Let me just see what... All right. Okay. And it's not fuzzy. I think I fixed it. I've added us back to Twitter or X or whatever they like to be called themselves these days. Twitter. To me, it will always be Twitter. Okay. The last time it was giving us a fuzzy image. So if you want to tell me what you can see, that would be much appreciated. Hopefully it's not too fuzzy. Now I will need one that's a bit longer. So I'm going to take them all out of there. And I'm going to send, I'll probably send 2 back through. But you've got to actually make sure they're up the right way and make sure that there's like that little line there. And because it's white, it's just like so not easy to see. I'll just send these 2 back through just so they can do that. Okay, just so that I get that whole strip with that texture on it. Whoopsie, now I'm just going to drop it all over the floor. Okay, and I'll just take this out of the way. Okay, so there is a bit of a line there that I can see because I'm close up to it, but I'm going to guess that you guys can't. Okay. So the way that this fractured card technique is done, wherever you want to put your initial square, you can put it on an angle. You don't have to put it in the middle. You can put it to the side. It's going to have my navy square over the top. I'm going to stamp on it with my Merry Christmas. And then these guys are going to sit, essentially going to sit around it. Okay. So depending on where you want to place things, depends on where you want to sit your, it depends on where you want to sit your sentiment. So let's do the sentiment first. It is a photopolymer stamp set, so we do need our mat. Now I have noticed that these guys are not, they weren't straight. So I'll just put them back on here. Photopolymer stamp sets are fairly easy to wiggle around. All right. So I've got my Versamark here. This that I've got here is our embossing buddy. Because it's navy and anything that's, we want to make sure we've got no fingerprints, no static electricity, any of that sort of thing on it. I do have the tools from the embossing set. Okay, I love this. Look at that. Squeeze and it opens, close and it holds. Okay, so I keep my embossing powder in a plastic container. You do get a paintbrush and a little, this one's the old one, but you get a little brown, you get a black one now, and you can tip all of your embossing powder back into your container through the hole on the end. All right. It's a great little kit. It's in the online, it's an online exclusive now. It was released a little while ago and now it's available there. Okay, so I've done my embossing buddy on there. I'm just going to do my Merry Christmas so that way it can all be, oh, need to make sure I turn it on its angle. And don't know what that noise was, but it sounded pretty big. Okay, that's relatively straight. It's as straight as I'm going to get it now. Now I know what that noise was. All right, so I can then just do this. And because we've got a paintbrush that comes with it, and although Eilish is painting in the background, this is not a brush for that. It's just for my embossing. Yeah, she's lucky she didn't steal it. It's a nice brush, actually. All right. This is the older heat tool. The newer heat tool has 2 settings. This one only has one, on and off. The new one actually has a lighter, a medium temperature as well. So I'm not sure. Hi, Nat. I'm not sure what this camera's microphone's going to do, but this is relatively loud. So we'll see how we go. I'll see if I can get it. At the moment, you can see it's quite powdery. You can, it's really easy to burn. So you just want to make sure that you can watch it if you're on the right angle. Hi, Cheryl. If you're on the right angle, you can see it start to melt. So you just want to make sure that you don't burn it. The white will go a funny dull browny color. It's like a pale brown color, but we just don't want to burn it. Any of the golds and silvers will actually, the shine will go away. Okay, so we've got our piece of our designer series paper and we've got our card front. Let me just pop, I'll just fold this in half. So this will make bulk cards really quick, really easy, and be quite effective. And you can use all different color strips. These are just 1 centimeter, the strips. So, but that's going to go on there. That's actually going to fit quite nicely. But what we need to do is work out where we want this piece. Okay, whether we want it up in the middle, up here. I'm going to sit the polar bear. No, this polar bear is bigger than the Christmas tree. He has to sit in front. Or whether we want to put it off to the side over here, which means we could add a bow there, but I don't think I want to add a bow. Might stick him about there. When then I can just, hi Chris, we can just chop off the edge. What do you reckon? So we just essentially needed to work out where we wanted to put our white stitched square. So I'm going to adhere this down. Okay, and I am going to bring it off the edge because our image is not central as such. But I want to make sure that my square is straight, okay, for want of a better way of putting it. So I just use the grids on my paper. Okay, so now what we do is, depending on which one you want to do first, we start by butting these against here, making sure they're the right way up, and butting it against here. Whoops, that one was upside down. Butting this one against here, and then that one there will butt backwards against that one. So we still end up with the same sort of technique with our colours, but without all the hard work that I tried to make. Yeah, the other side's pretty cool too, look. Yeah. We still end up with the same sort of thing that we do at class a couple of weeks back, but without all of the, I don't know, without all of the extra work. Or you can start it here and you can go up there. It just depends on what you want to do. Okay, but we essentially end up with all of these daggy bits hanging off the end. So we'll put some adhesive on them. Okay, and the trick is to make sure you line it up with the edges and butt it right against that square. Okay, and then we work our way around. So I need the other long one to just be over there, and make sure you put them up the right way up. It's very hard to see because it's, oh, I've got glue everywhere, man. As long as it doesn't go on the front piece, it's all that matters. Okay. Where's that other one? This is the other long piece. And the join is, oh boy, I can't see it. Up down there. Okay. So if I lean that on there, I should not put too much glue on. What do you reckon? Because I'm getting a bit, they're white cardstock, but I've actually embossed them. Okay, so it's a bit hard to see because they're white. Oh, I'm sticking to my piece of paper. But yeah, I've actually embossed them. So it is really hard to see. I think I might not be able to use white for future reference. So yeah, can't see. But they do have texture. So I just use it's run off my desk, so I can't remember. So I've got it written on it so that I remember what they're called. It looks like paint splatters. But yeah, so it's just essentially, I just used a embossing. You can use any embossing folder. It's just one to just stop it being flat, essentially. And I'm just going around that square. Now, hindsight tells me I probably should have popped that square up because that would have looked excellent. You can add some gold, silver, whatever you want under there as well. But then now we're going to get our snips and we're going to cut it off. So we're going to turn over and we're going to cut all the excess off because we don't need it. And then it won't look so all over the shop. This is why I didn't want to put too much glue on. My snips end up catching so much glue in the end. But you can see that fractured technique that's hanging there. This one is definitely going to get popped up on some dimensionals. Actually, you know what hindsight would have told me to do? Where's that Irish child gone? This one here, it looks like boho blue. I'm thinking it needs it. What do you reckon? Does it need? I reckon it needs this blue under here. What do you reckon? Oh, the sun's come back. Hold on. Let's stop it being so glary. I'm just going to grab some blue cardstock. Just thought maybe some boho blue to go with it. What do you reckon? If we put a little, instead of that being basic white, it's not boho blue. Okay, maybe not. Let's look up what colour it is. And back into the catalogue. The catalogue gives you a list of what all the colours are. It's balmy blue. Okay, that'll teach me. But while we're here, I'm thinking, yes I am, that would look good with some jumper under it. No, it needs to be balmy blue. And it's too hard to find because it's hanging out in the cupboard and I can't find it in there. Oh, I really want it. I do really want it though. Yeah. All right, I'll get the balmy blue out. What do you reckon? If you could see my cupboard, you'd understand why. And take a little bit of time to find it. And all right, let's develop some legs. Found it. Found it. It just decided it was going to take. This is better. Okay. I think it needs the balmy blue. So I'm going to move that to the side, bring this guy back. Those all right, and we'll get some balmy blue. It's one of the best bits about having so much cardstock in your life. Okay, and just wind that through. I think that's going to look heaps better. What's the consensus? Much better, isn't it? Yeah. And I'm going to stick it on dimensionals. Okay. That one didn't come up. Neither did that one. All the rest did. All right, so I'm just going to stick this one straight over the top of that basic white one. And we will have to snip that edge. Okay. It's a really quick and easy technique when you do it right the first time. This is going to sit over here on there. Oh, and I notice that there's a little bit of a, see what happens when you've got glue all over and they stick. So rather than cut these pieces and end up with bits of paper everywhere, which I've been known to do in the past, this is another way of doing it. Make sure I'm the right way up. Hold my tongue in the right position. You know how it goes. Got sticky all over me here. Now, I'm also going to pop this, actually I'll pop this on flat. All right, because I want to pop my polar bear. My tree's going to go here, so it will actually need a dimensional under here and potentially half a dimensional under there, under its star. So we'll put one of those under there. I always say to my friends not to, don't throw out the bits, the little bits of dimensional that you've got sort of hiding away, like around the edge, because you can still use them. And this is a classic use, like classic time. All right. So that bit's just going to sit there like so. It's coming together nicely. And then this little guy is going to sit on the front here. Now, I think he needs, I want to put him on dimensionals as well. So I need to make sure that if I'm going to stick him on dimensionals, he's going to need 2 down in this butt area here. The reason being, and you need to make sure you take that one off, because he's going to be double high in that area. All right. Put one under his head. And one here. Come on. Being stubborn. So that bit's going to go there and up there. Now, I did bring over the festive dots because I've got quite a few of them left there. They're adhesive back dots, and I just thought I'd add a couple. I really think the silver ones are the go. Okay. But you can use any sort of bling that you've got. We find this end a bit easier. Just to make it pretty it up, because the bling's always nice. Okay. Just adds a little bit to it. It's up to you how many you put on. Depends on how generous you're feeling and how many centers you've got. All right, you could stick it on all of them if you wanted to, but I'm not going to. So that's the front of my card. I'll just put all these things out of the way. But we need to do the inside of the card. Now, I didn't have this stamp set. So remember, there was some trees on the other one. So I'm just going to stick this underneath here. I keep reminding my ladies to stick it underneath. And I wasn't going to do it myself. Okay. So I've got some little trees. This colour here is Mossy Meadow, and it looks like Old Olive or stamped off Mossy Meadow. So I pulled in this tree here, and I've got, oh, where's it gone? I've got Warm Wishes because it's a polar bear, so we need some warm wishes. I pulled out my Misty Moonlight and my Mossy Meadow to do it. Just because, oops, I need the Misty Moonlight first. Because the blue of the Misty Moonlight's quite nice, but I'm going to put my Warm Wishes down here. If you line up your card on your grid paper, you should end up fairly straight. So we'll close that one up. Okay. And then we can do our trees. Now, with the Mossy Meadow, we can also have some nice deep trees at the front, and we can have some off into the distance that are that little bit lighter. Okay. Now the thing is with the trees, that with the background, we don't want to, we want them to be lighter, but we don't want them to be half and half. So you have to remember to, if you're doing them, to make sure that you either stamp the whole tree on or only a little bit, and then do the next less of that tree. Otherwise you end up with, I'll show you what I mean. If I stamp this tree like this and then I go to do my light tree, see what I mean? You end up with that half and half business. We don't want that. It's not a good look. Okay. Envelope. Let's do the envelope with some green leaves as well, or green trees as well. Okay. All right, and that's looking pretty good. There's 3 different stamps on this one for when it comes to tree perspective, but there's also this little one. So we could actually have done some little snowflakes and stuff if we wanted to, that would match this paper. Okay, so we now just need to stick our inside in. And we've got one very cute card that's been very, very fast and efficient to make. Okay, and when you're making multiples and lots on lots of cards, what I've got up there, mark, that's what you want. Something that's nice and quick and nice and easy, that gives you a lot, looks impressive, and it's not as much work. So it is actually difficult to see on that, and you'll be able to see it on the photo more than when I post a photo of it. You'll see that this is embossed and it does look good. Okay, so that's my card for today. That's a very, very fine technique. I am doing a rather fast and efficient card today, and the reason being is that I want to put my tree up. Has anybody got their Christmas tree up? Now, the other thing I was going to show you is I sat here on the weekend just tying bows. So you could put a bow if you wanted to, maybe over here or somewhere like that. But I think it's too much. Or actually, no, I don't, because it's going to hide that thing. Did I bring my glue dots over? Nope. So you could put a bow there to hide that join if you wanted to. But I'm not going to. So, yeah, it doesn't need it. Okay. So, yeah. One very Merry Christmas card, very merry quickly. All right. Okie dokie. Have a good day, everyone. I'll speak to you all later. All right, let's just go like this. How cute is he? All right, toodaloos.